unfortunately, sometimes how bureaucratic they are. And the reason of all this is mostly because the governmental sector is not really digitalized, and there are a lot of efforts which should be done to come to this process. Here you can see the table made by McKinsey. It was in 2017, but not many things changed. Positioning governmental sector in very low of the table of the digitalization. Some governments are making more efforts, some governments are making less efforts, but today we are facing in the whole world the really strange situation of the new normal after the coronavirus. Actually, it's not after, it's still with the coronavirus. And everybody is understanding that we will never be back like it was before. So it should be something different, absolutely different. And this absolutely different will go through the path of the digital transformation. And the governmental sector is not apart from this road. The governmental sector should come on this road in order to be modern, in order to meet the requirements of public and the people of any country. Why we are talking about the big problems in the governmental sector? Governmental sector is a sector where a lot of data. That's we know perfectly well about it. There are a lot of data in any ministry, in any governmental organization. Doesn't matter whether it will be customs, police, healthcare, Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Defense, whatever. It's a bulk, a big quantity, more than terabytes of the data. And most of this data is unstructured. So it doesn't matter which industry we are talking about, it's transversal problem of a big quantity of unstructured data. So according to many researchers, 80% of all our professional knowledge, including the documents, are unstructured data. And this is the biggest issue, the biggest challenge we are facing today. And the challenge is how we can process all this data to make my data, to convert it into knowledge. So I can take the decision, I can move forward, I can create new businesses, I can create solutions for my people. So this is one of the biggest challenges today in the epoch of the coronavirus, and how we can optimize the resources of the government, how we can optimize resources of the ministries, how we can optimize resources of the governmental institutions to become efficient. And efficiency is a very important issue, especially now, because after the coronavirus, we can hear in all parts of the world about we have to cut our costs. Unfortunately, we implemented a lot of efforts and money and the budget to relieve our people. So now we don't have this money. So how artificial intelligence can help in this process? How we can help the government to cut the cost? How we can help the government to be more efficient? I think that the best way to understand how it can be more efficient is to look at the samples. So business cases is the most efficient way to understand how any solution, any software, any product can help in some fields. Recently, we know a lot about the knowledge management. Also, we heard a lot of different things like natural language processing, transformers, and you can see here on this slide the famous transformers like BERT by Google or GPT-3 by OpenAI. Also, we know that a lot of industries, a lot of organizations are going to the knowledge graph, and I can name you companies like Facebook, Credit Suisse, Financial Times, Elsevier, and many, many big companies which are going to the knowledge graph. Knowledge graph, it's ecosystem. It's not just the simple solution. It's the new way of presenting the data. It's the new way of understanding of my own data, of everything which I have in the data lake. And it's at the same time, it's a lot of concepts and a lot of relationships. And this is how we should go to this long and not easy way of the digital transformation. So let's start with a quite, for us, it's easy sample, but it will be also understandable for you. What does it mean when we are talking about process the data and to create the new businesses? So this is extremely good case in the e-health, in the healthcare, which is very important part, especially today. So I specifically tried today to start with the health and healthcare because this is the hot issue for all people on this small planet. So we started applied semantic AI to understand extended clinical records. The problem I will mention now will be the problem for most of the countries on the planet Earth. There are 198 countries in the United Nations, and almost all of them have the same problem. Medical records hide knowledge and the patterns that are difficult to extract. But the biggest problem is even small countries, even the same systems, they have different HIS, healthcare information systems, and they're not compatible. So imagine the case of Saudi Arabia or Spain or United States. There are hundreds, thousands of health information systems, and they're all different. They're not compatible. So I can understand clinical issues, and I can create patterns in hospital, in the group of hospitals, not always, because we know group of hospitals where they have different health information systems. And now imagine how the government of any country, whether it will be small country or big country, can understand the healthcare system on the national level. So what are the governments are doing now? Normally they are recollecting the statistics. So they depend upon the public and private institutions. If I would like to know how many people with the diabetes 1 or diabetes 2 or with the cardio problems are in my country, I have to collect a lot of statistics, and these statistics are not always updated. And these statistics are not always trustful. So only after that, I'm getting this information and trying to project what it can be done on the level of the government to face different challenges in the healthcare. So analyzing patients' electronic health records, we are trying to extract medical concepts and relationships. Here you can see on the picture two different hospitals, Hospital Clínico de San Carlos and University Hospital in Getafe. So we started some projects with those hospitals in Spain to understand how we can help the medical doctors and healthcare professionals to create the patterns. Pattern is a very important part of the understanding the healthcare, because with the 1, 2, or even 1,000 patients, we are not understanding what does it mean the healthcare of the country. But with 100,000, with 1 million of the patients, we can create patterns. We can understand how we can better use our resources. What is the best treatment and the most efficient treatment for these things? Here you can see something which is like vulgar presentation of the knowledge graph here on the screen. So you can see patient, and patient is connected with the district where he lives, and the district means what type of the air he is breathing, what type of the weather he lives in, what is his income, because of the income, many factors in our health also depends, what type of the water he drinks, whether he was a smoker or not. And we are connecting also things like the knowledge from the different sources we collected to the possible symptoms of this patient. So what we are doing actually, what are expected outcomes of applying artificial intelligence, and more precisely semantic artificial intelligence, to extended clinical record? First of all, we shape care around patient characteristics. So it's not like in general, you go and you buy aspirin, paracetamol, whatever, and you give to all patients. No, if I understand your individual health records, and I can create individual health graph, I know better what type of the medicine you need. This is the future which many farmers are dreaming about, because they would like to come to the level of predictive medicine, and then from the level of the predictive medicine, they would like to go to the personalized clinical assistance. Now, what I was mentioning is we are trying to find patterns for early disease detection. So let me explain this in a little bit more precise way. Imagine we processed 40,000 different healthcare records from 40,000 patients in angiology. Angiology, this is the part of the medicine which is studying the vein, arteries, and other things. So in this field, we have very limited quantity of the diseases. They're not hundreds, they're in dozens. So if we created the patterns, that means that next time doctor is entering the data of the next patient and putting the different type of the clinical analysis, he can get the trigger. Be careful. This person is already went 77% of the road to become your patient in 6 months or in 1 year. So we can create patterns, and we can understand that, let's put on the level of the country, that 36,500 people in less than 6 months will be converted in the diabetes 2 patients. So in this case, the government, the healthcare institutions, the governmental organizations can start treatment before, and that's what we call treatment optimization. Now, we are creating, with this, we are creating predictive models for the disease evolution. And knowing the models, knowing the patterns, knowing the best solutions, we can go to the patients, for the patients with the personalized prescription sources. We can also understand better the population health on the big level. So the government can optimize resources. They can understand where they need more doctors, in which type of the therapeutical areas, because it doesn't mean that, we have the lack of 10,000 doctors. Of course, yes, but which type of the doctors? Do you need therapists? Do you need oncologists? Do you need gynecologists? Whom you need? So with the graphs, individual health graphs, and the graphs on the socioeconomic level of the country, we can understand better how we can optimize our resources. We can give, and this is very important, better scientific support for the doctors to take the decision about the health of the patients. And we can boost, and this is very important because we still live in the capitalist society, we can boost the creation of the new digital businesses. And the new digital businesses, you saw it in the recent months, how important different new businesses like telemedicine or consultancy, different type of the new drugs, creator and everything in the new world. So new normal obliges us to create the new digital businesses. We were thinking how we can help in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with the healthcare digital transformation. Last year, the government and Ministry of Health of the Saudi Arabia entered in the SNOMED city. SNOMED city is the people from healthcare, they know perfectly well. It's ontology, the basic ontology is like alphabet of the healthcare. And thanks to this ontology, which is like alphabet, we can understand any record. Somebody was telling me in Saudi Arabia, Oleg, you're not right, because most of our hospitals, they have this healthcare information system in English, and we don't need Arabic. Excuse me, I don't agree. Because there are a lot of people who are not using English on the daily basis. Many doctors are talking to their patients in Arabic language. So in order to understand on the big level, on the governmental level, how it should be, what does it mean the health of my country? I need to have SNOMED city in English language and in Arabic language. And to process with the different connected ontologies, creating algorithms, process all data in data lake, whether it will be clinical results, whether it will be medical records from the doctors, whether it will be scientific researches published in English or Arabic, doesn't matter. But that will help to put on the next level the knowledge about the healthcare in the country. So with this one, we can process data in any hospital in Saudi Arabia, whether it will be public hospital, private hospital, whether it will be record in English language or in Arabic language. And we can create on the big scale the graph of the nation's health. So now I would like to share with you the video. It's just 3 minutes video, so you can better understand what does it mean. So I hope now you saw the video. There were some problems. And now we're coming to the second case. And the second business case is linguistic fingerprint. Linguistic fingerprint is the case of the using of the semantic AI for different industries, for different ministries. And one of the most important will be the case of the national security. So you saw a lot of movies made in Hollywood, like where they were talking like how to get the bad people who are behind the social networks, behind the nets, those people who just at the very beginning of our presentation hacked the link. But in general, when we are talking about linguistic fingerprint, it's a very interesting issue. We know that the different secret services are studying the things like what people are talking about in the network and social networks, on chats, whatever. They're analyzing, and they know that there are a lot of different strange messages, and they're studying these strange messages. What we applied in our company, in MMG, we applied so-called linguistic fingerprint, which is also characteristics of any person. All of us, we are all from different areas. We are born in different cities, we grew up in different cities, we read different books, we go to different schools, and all these characters are influencing on our way of writing. Nobody is writing in the same way. We're all different. So if I know where you study, where the region you grow up, what is your education, your group membership or mother tongue, we can create personal writing style. And while creating the personal writing style, vice versa, I can understand analyzing, or we can understand analyzing your writing, where you're from. So you think, it's very ambiguous, it can be. So we make very interesting game. And this game, you will understand, is a very small base. We took 80 people from the United States. Most of them, they're all famous people. We took 20 Republicans, 20 Democrats, 20 athletes, and 20 actors. And on the 80% of 80 people, which means 64 people, we created, based on machine learning, we created the algorithm to understand those people. And we took 3,000 tweets from each of them. So what are the results? The results were astonishing. While we were checking how those people write, we could get the accuracy of 94% of their profession, almost 70% of their gender, and almost 70% of their age range. You'll tell me, Oleg, but 70% is not very precise. Yes and no. Don't forget that many people, famous people who were in our database, like Clinton, Obama, whatever, they have community managers. So it's not those people who are writing the tweets. That's where they're community managers. And even though we have even more, don't forget that we created algorithm based only on 64 people. Imagine if we use the algorithm based on 64,000 people. So this system is quite efficient. And of course, it's not separate. It should be used like DARPA or National Security Agency in the United States using, or FBI or CIA, they're using what people are writing about with our system, which is how people are writing about. So this leads us to the one possible project. In January, our team, we won the Dubai Police Hackathon. It was the competition cohort. We participated and we won it to analyze social network entries. and to understand who are those people which can be with a predictable bad behavior, let's put it this way. So how can we, from what they are writing, even if they are writing with the false avatars and we don't know who they are, how we can get the knowledge who they are in the form how they are writing. So, and the figures, the estimations of these projects are very high. Now, in January also, and actually in February, we participated in the Innovation Hackathon organized by the Ministry of Economy of the United Arab Emirates. Here on the pictures, you can see our team. And you can see also the check. That means that we won the hackathon. And we were very proud because first time ever we were using not only our knowledge in English or Spanish language, but we were using our knowledge in Arabic language as well. So the work was very interesting because the use case is the use case which is probably will be very common for many ministries in general. The use case is as follows. In this particular case, they have a lot, thousands and thousands of registered brands and trademarks. And each time that somebody would like to register a new brand, they have to present to fill in special form and to present the logo and the explanation. So here we have the two different things. We have semantic AI and we have visual recognition. And the complication is that it can be written in different languages. So the companies, when they're registering their brands, they're using their logo and trademark. It can be done in different languages. So we had the data set. We processed with our algorithm the data set. And the jury, the judges, they were trying how our data set is efficient with the getting the comparison with the existing registered brands. And by the end of the day, we were the winners. So what is the most important part of this competition and this project which we're discussing now in the stage of the possible contract? So first of all, we're reducing the errors because our AI, artificial intelligence based system, semantic AI and high precision analytic helps to reduce the time. It improves the speeds. We spoke to the employees of this department, and normally it takes them from half an hour in the best case till the 2 weeks to process some data. So now we're reducing this in minutes. It actually in minutes. And together, because what we like to always to explain, we are not a magic company. We are not a company which is doing everything like this. No, it doesn't exist. We are co-creating the solutions. And this is very important in artificial intelligence. Nobody can be so arrogant to tell, I will do it and you will be extremely happy. No, you have always to listen to the customer. You have always to listen to the client and sit together with the client to co-create the solution which will help the client to scale together and to go forward in the process of the digital transformation. And by the end of the day, the most important part of this project was that we are helping them to reduce cost, which is very important nowadays. So here you can see a very classical sample. So we created the page. They can take any image, they can log into this page and will get immediately the comparison analysis, whether it will be according to the filters, whether it will be text, whether it will be image, whether it will be colors, whatever. So this user case is quite easy to understand, and we use different filters to help them to be more efficient. How we are doing it on the internal technological level. It's our know-how, which we're developing in the company for 5 years. For example, we have our solution Deep AI Met, which is, I would say, like the Google for doctors, but more precise. So you can ask any question, and instead of 2 million links like in Google, you get exactly the answer And the most relevant answer you can see here will be marked in blue letters. So that's what we are doing for the government, for the Ministry of the Economy. We are giving them precise answer. So this is the logo, which is most similar according to color, according to shape, according to whatever, using the filters. Now, another big usage of semantic AI will be in the legal sector. You know perfectly well that legal sector is something very important in any governmental, for any governmental institution. So recently we were contacted by United Arab Emirates Ministry of State for Federal National Council Affairs. In the more normal words, it's the ministry which is connecting government with the parliament. And as you can understand, it's a lot of work. So because of the NDA, we can't talk a lot, but in general, it's the following. We can help to process all data, all digital data of the parliament. And when the next time they're discussing something, we can help them to understand whether this was already discussed before, whether any solution or any draft was proposed, and later, if the draft will be approved as a new law, as a new legislation, we can check how government is fulfilling this legislation, this new law. So, and on the long term, it's something which might be for some of you will be, oh, this guy is talking about the future like Hollywood movie or whatever. They are trying to get to automation of the legal work of the parliament and the government. So maybe today it sounds like doesn't work well. Even Bert from Google or OpenAI, they're not so good in generating the documents. But if we are very specific on some fields, on some ontologies, and within the company we have special project, the name is Axonis, to create in less than 6 weeks ontology of any business, of any industry. So that might be done one day. So the expected outcomes in this field, and we have also this hype also inside Spain. There are some companies which are asking us how we can help to be more efficient in the legal sector. So what we are trying to do is automatic organization of the whole library, of the subsets of the documents, because in the legal sector, many documents are very similar. And we can really create the groups, and we can create the groups based on the subjects and characteristics of the documents. We can find the most similar documents to a given one. We can easily help to search the documents because 90% of the work of the lawyers is searching and comparing and reading the documents. So we can help to speed up enormously this process. We can help to generate automatic summaries. It doesn't matter for us whether the document is 300 pages, 3,000 pages, or 20 pages. We can still generate the automatic summary. Then we can give also main subjects based on our possibility to understand the ontologies. We can understand the main subjects. Then we can see the trends, and we can make trigger for the people telling this issue is on trend for the last 17 days. And that might, they might take any efforts either to follow this trend or to convert this trend in the legislation. And using the document characteristics such as date, text, authorship, vote results, blah, 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 we can make also quantitative analysis. So talking or finalizing my presentation, I would like to stress up that the semantic artificial intelligence is a very powerful tool for the government and governmental organizations. That will definitely applying semantic artificial intelligence will help public sector go more rapidly on the way of the digital transformation. Why? Because with the semantic artificial intelligence, we can take all unstructured data which are now in the data lakes. Many countries, they have terabytes of the documents which are laying in data lake and nobody was processing them because it seems very difficult. And then the new technology is warning, if I take all your data and process your data, of course, all data will be processed respecting the protection of the personal data, because we have algorithms which are not obliging to move the data. We can process inside the servers, inside the data center. So then we're going to the new level, and the new level is knowledge management. So the semantic artificial intelligence brings us to the new level of understanding and using the data, knowledge management. So semantic AI can be used according to the samples which I presented to you in transversal way in different industries. As to our company, we are more focused on healthcare, security, economy, and legal. But definitely other companies are using semantic artificial intelligence for absolutely different ways. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank you for...
Mr.
Hello? Okay, now I'm here.
Mr. Dr. Oleg, thank you for your fruitful information about semantic artificial intelligence. We really enjoy this journey with the treatment, optimization, and the health of everyone's country, and the artificial intelligence reducing times from weeks into minutes, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Just one advice I need from your side. How can I keep the health of my country?
I would say that, remember I told you from the very beginning that the magic stick from Harry Potter doesn't exist. In artificial intelligence, our work is based on the following algorithm: 90% preparing data and only 10% using machine learning, deep learning to create the algorithm. So we learned for 4 years, we're learning how to create the algorithm to process the data. So we have some ideas, good ideas, and I think we can contact later Dr. Fatma Balfman. She's a very good friend of us, and she can present the solutions for example, for Saudi Ministry of Health, how we can process the data, create the patterns, and to see the picture of the healthcare of the country, to understand what are the main diseases, what are the main treatments, what are the most efficient treatments. Because it's not only to see, I should understand how I can help my country to be more efficient, to spend less money, to create new businesses, and to make my nation more healthy. Because today we have the new message, it's not only health, it's health and wellness. Any government, whether it will be government of Spain or the United States or Saudi Arabia, are happy not to use money to treat people. I would rather spend money to make people healthy, so they're not using later my services to be treated. So what we are doing, we are making this, we are pushing the science towards this predictive medicine to give the government possibility to create more healthy nation. So the suggestion will be apply as soon as possible digital transformation, the new tools of artificial intelligence. They already exist and they're not so expensive as many people will think about it. In a really record time, maybe we are talking from 1 to 3 years, we can make big shift in the healthcare system of Saudi Arabia.
Dr. Oleg, again, we thank you for your valuable information about semantic artificial intelligence, and thanks also for the attendees who are joining us during your lecture, and hope you luck, and greetings from my team and me in Riyadh. Thank you, Dr. Oleg.
Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, and good luck for your show.
Thank you.